On today's episode, we're going to have honest conversation about entrepreneurship, motherhood, risk-taking, and the importance of having a village. Welcome back to JITT Talks. We're so glad you're here. Today's conversation is for anyone who's ever had a dream, but wondered if now is the right time to pursue it.
So whether you're a mother, a professional, an entrepreneur, or simply someone trying to figure out your next step, we hope today's conversation reminds you that purpose rarely arrives when life feels perfectly organized.
When people hear the word entrepreneur, they often picture freedom and flexibility. But what does entrepreneurship really look like?
Whoa, okay. I think today in the world we live in, social media, especially often show highlights of entrepreneurship.
The fun part.
All the fun part, all the glory and glitz and the niceness. But it doesn't always show the early mornings, the difficult decisions, the moments of uncertainty, or the personal growth that's required. I mean, there's so much uncertainty in being an entrepreneur. Learning to depend on yourself.
Yeah.
You know, I was in corporate so long, and having that steady paycheck, knowing when something was coming in, knowing my benefits, all of that was fun.
That structure.
Yep, structure. But, you know, and you get to a point where you begin to see structure. But at first, you're going from one fire to the next. You're taking care of one need. You're learning as you're doing it. It's like building a car as you drive it. So, and the responsibility, it takes discipline. It takes a lot of discipline to be an entrepreneur, and you're wearing many hats. You know, unless you start with a major investment, you are the marketing, you're finance, you are HR.
Are every department.
Every department. So,
every department.
And you'll find yourself talking to yourself like
Yes.
in every department. So and it's constantly learning. I mean, the world going to constantly evolve as you start your business. So it's you know, building something with purpose instead of simply just making money. So that's the biggest. I think that's the what it really looked like on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, I agree.
So you're raising children, Samaj. You're homeschooling. You're running a business. You're coaching clients. You're creating content. Thank you so much. So what does entrepreneurship look like through the lens of motherhood?
Entrepreneurship through the lens of a busy mama it's not, you know, for me, entrepreneurship and motherhood are not separate. They are connected together because my children are a part of my journey.
Absolutely.
And there are days where one role requires more than the other. So I've learned that balance isn't about giving everything like equal attention every single day. And that's something that I really had to work on because I was operating out of wanting every day to be perfect and routine, because routine makes everything better, right?
Yeah.
But it was more so about being intentional about my time and my energy and knowing what was needed most from me in whichever season I was in. So there are layers to this. So being a homeschool mom, it allows flexibility, and it also requires flexibility.
It's demanding.
Some days I'm filled with the business side, my coaching sessions, meetings, content creation, being the head of any department, any day, never knowing which one. And then some days my priority is just being mom.
Yeah.
Being present with my kids and letting go of what a perfect day of homeschooling or business should look like.
Exactly.
Instead, I focused on really just being focused and faithful in what God has given us. He has given us an opportunity that many people would love to have. So I always try to work out of the position of privilege, and knowing that God has given me a privilege to do something. Like, I'm so grateful to have this opportunity. And yeah, it's a privilege to do God's work. So
Absolutely.
So yeah, I think one thing that I think that people, especially social media, might not address is that as moms, we often feel guilty when we choose ourselves.
Yeah.
Because as we're raising these kids and trying to show up and be present, a lot of times as moms, we fall to the back burner. We don't allow ourselves to be the center and to do and still to chase our dreams and
Absolutely.
and the things that we feel purpose and called to do. So I would just say that not every day goes as planned, and success is not for me about doing everything perfectly or flawlessly. It's really about just showing up for what matters most. So yeah, I think and I know I've said a lot, but I think I will leave with this. I know for me, what I have learned and what has surprised me is that being an entrepreneur and a motherhood has taught me things in different spaces. And I think being a mother, it has taught me how to be a more compassionate coach, how to have empathy, and it shows me a different perspective. And I think as an entrepreneur, it has allowed me to become a better mom because it's taught me resilience and problem solving, time management, and the importance of being a model of courage for my children.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I think those are it.
So what do you hope your children learn from watching you build this business?
To take risk, to bet on themselves.
Yeah.
I hope that they learn that they don't have to do what majority does, and it doesn't have to look like how everybody else's story looks.
Absolutely.
And so I hope I can, instead of telling them and teaching them these lessons through words, I'm hoping that my actions are really showing up and they can see, because they get full transparency of good and bad days.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So yeah. One thing though that we both have noticed is that there's so many talented women out here, but oftentimes they hesitate to pursue what's on their heart due to the many roles that we all have. Why do you think women struggle to bet on themselves?
I mean, I would think the biggest factor would be fear, and not just fear of failure, but fear of success. I mean, women, we don't lack ability. As a matter of fact, I think we're probably some of the most capable beings on earth. And I mean, we debunk the scientific
Multitasking?
theory. Yeah, we debunked that theory that multitasking can't be done. I mean, I've
Right.
seen mothers do some incredible things all at once. So, I mean, and even if you're not doing it all at once, kids they work your nerves so bad sometimes you do two or three things and it
At
feels
once.
like it. Yeah, yeah. So. I think realistically, fear of success is probably just as deep as the fear of failure, because sometimes you think about it as a mother, you get that guilt syndrome of, hey, what if this work out? What if this is successful? And we fear leaving, our children. What will happen with my children if I am successful? I have to go on the road. I have to do this. And then we get that, fear of success. I mean, we have, these relationships and we have family, and we get afraid that if I become successful, I lose these relationships.
Will they shift?
Will they
change?
shift?
Yeah,
And honestly, sometimes some stuff is meant to shift.
that's true.
Because if you're working out a purpose, God will move things and people that shouldn't be there. So, we get that fear of that, and then we get that fear of failure. It's like, what if I do this and I don't succeed? What people are going to think? Who cares what people think?
Yeah.
If it's your purpose may be to serve one or two people. You're thinking that you're supposed to be the next, I don't know, Oprah, which, we love Oprah.
Yes.
We love Oprah. She's that girl role model. So,
Yeah.
but you can't set your standards at the level of someone else. Set your standards to be the best you were created to be.
Absolutely.
And we have that perfectionism with women. We think everything's got to be perfect. I mean, we learned it as little girls, perfect makeup, perfect hair, perfect this. And
Yeah.
so we have this perfectionism of, and we've set, being a leader myself and going into corporate and being in corporate and having, had what I feel is a very successful career. I
Yeah.
mean, God's brought me through a lot to be where I am and to wear the titles that I did. So we do this comparison, and we think that everything has got to be right. If I make a mistake, it's the end of the world. And we're waiting for this permission from someone to tell us we're good enough to do
Yeah.
something, and
Validation.
and you don't, you have to set your own standards. And you believe everybody else is more qualified than you. I mean, I am guilty of that. I used to think that, oh my gosh, she's got it going on, and she's doing this, and she's got this education, she's got that. And I mean, you talking a woman with multiple degrees. I always
Yeah.
thought everybody else was more qualified because she came from this big city, I came from this little country town. Her English is better than mine. She speak better than me, and
Yeah.
she can make a more perfect sentence. And
We fall into comparison
we fall
traps.
into comparison traps,
Yeah.
and there's so many that will keep you from your purpose. And so, I mean, you have to bet on you. You have to get walking in your own calling.
Yeah. What would you say to the woman who's waiting until she feels completely ready?
One sentence: you ain't ready.
Right. You'll
Yeah.
never be, right?
Yeah. So,
Never.
Samaje, women often carry so many responsibilities already. How do you know when it's worth taking another risk?
You don't. I don't think taking a risk will ever feel comfortable. It's like we just said, like you'll never be ready.
Absolutely.
Right? Like you'll just have in your mind like, "Oh, I got to wait till it's the perfect timing." There will never be a perfect timing.
Absolutely.
So, there's never taking a risk as a mother. We just naturally think about our children, what they need, our family, our friends, how we need to show up for others. We'll think about our finances, our response. Like we'll think about everything under the sun, and it just makes our risk feel heavy. But I mean,
Absolutely.
honestly, taking a risk on myself still feels heavy.
Yeah.
You know, for me, if I had to simplify it, there would be a couple questions I would ask myself, and I think these are questions that I did ask myself: was, is this aligned with my values? Is it aligned with my purpose that I believe God has placed on my life? Have I
Yeah.
done the research? Have I done the homework to do the business or take that risk?
Yeah.
And am I willing to trust God with whatever the outcome is?
Absolutely.
That is so scary.
That is.
But if the answer is yes, then
It's over for
sometimes the
you.
next step is simply choosing courage over certainty.
Exactly.
So I don't think taking risks means being reckless. And that kind of has to do with the generational thing that we talked about, the Nike generation of
Oh,
let's
yeah.
just do it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's always reckless. I think it means being intentional sometimes to take a risk. Sometimes the risk is not to quit your job tomorrow, right? Sometimes the risk is just starting a business on the weekends.
Yeah.
Taking a few hours after your 9 to 5 when everybody's
Take your
gone to
time and
sleep
build it.
to read a little bit, do some research, maybe create a prototype of whatever the business is that you want.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I think it's simple steps,
Yeah.
I think this next topic is one of the most important, and I know it's current. I'm living in it now. So we've talked about the entrepreneurship, but no one builds something meaningful completely alone.
Absolutely.
So why is having a village so important?
Oh my goodness. I think one of the greatest misconceptions about success is that it's a solo journey. I mean, absolutely, it absolutely take a village. You have to have mentors. You have to have people who have gone before you. And you know, when you were growing up, I always told you about sitting down and listening to your elders.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's having those mentors and listening to those stories of people that have gone before you. Don't be so prideful that you can't listen, and that you can't, hear what someone is telling you. I mean, all mistakes don't have to be made.
Yeah.
I know we learn from our mistakes, but all of them don't have to be made. And having those friends and family members, the ones that are truly there for you, and the ones that are, cheering you on, and the ones that actually come in and give you that break, and the
Yeah.
ones that see you, and not the ones that just watch on and
Yeah.
and see what it's going to be and then want to reap the rewards. I'm talking those true friends, those true family members, and
Yeah.
and having someone to make you accountable.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I know with us, we hold each other accountable. You hold me accountable a lot, almost
Too
too
much?
much. Yep, sometimes it's too much. And I this is one of those instances where I feel like the child and you feel like the parent sometimes,
Yeah.
because I mean, I don't know. It could be all my years in corporate, and I'm on that downside of life, and you still on that. You be drinking those energy drinks and running me crazy.
Yes.
I mean, and the most important and the biggest thing is having people who, if you're a person of faith, having people that pray with you and pray for you.
Yeah.
And that alone is encouragement. That alone is something that helps build you up. And and you'll notice that behind almost every meaningful accomplishment is a community of people who encourage and challenge and supported you along the way. And
Yeah.
having those honest conversations. We have honest conversations about our business, and and about the children, and what need to be done, and and taking measured steps and doing things. And I mean, and the biggest thing, that community is important, and being a part of a community and reaching out to people, and being a part of something bigger than you. I mean, you and I both, we've lived our lives mostly as introverts.
Yeah.
But when you are being an entrepreneur, you have got to have community. You've
You
got to
do.
reach out. You've got to get out the house. You got to.
Yeah, you have to network. You have
Yeah.
to actually talk to the people
You have to
that
talk
are
to
in
people.
the big world.
The
Yeah.
world seems very people-y sometimes,
Yes.
but you have to get out there with them. And you have to
Yes.
become a part of those people-y people.
Yeah. And I think also having a village could look different for some people. I know for me, having a village is you help me throughout the day when I'm homeschooling and balancing work. You make sure the kids' lunch is taken care of, and
Yep.
that's just one of the many ways that you help, because you're also building this business with me.
Yeah.
But you do that, and I get at least an hour or two to kind of refocus and do some little things that I need to do to get to the next task. So I think having a village could look different. It could be simple things to be a part of someone's village, right? So
Absolutely.
speaking of that, how do we become a part of someone's village?
You become social networking.
Yeah.
Find yourself conventions, and find yourself social meetups, and business meetups, and different business events. And
Yeah.
when events come to your town, don't be afraid to get out there and join some of these clubs around here. I mean, you become a part of the Better Business Bureau. And
Yeah, and don't always, and not just for yourself, but to also support other people.
Absolutely.
To make sure, share your friends' business, or name dropping in conversations.
Absolutely.
Helping support them, whether that's helping them set up a booth at one of those conventions or something like
Absolutely.
that. So yeah, being a part of someone else's village is equally as important as people being a part
Sharing
of your
that
village.
knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a big one. Because sometimes we learn things
Yeah.
and we want to keep it to ourselves. But I think
Absolutely.
it's more important to share that, because everything that you're taught isn't just for you.
Absolutely.
Sometimes it's for the other person.
Everything is that you learn is for
everything.
someone else.
Right.
When one of us succeed, we all succeed.
Yep.
And okay, so before we close, let's leave our listeners with one thoughtful step they can take this week.
Yeah. I want to challenge you guys this week. I want you to think about taking one step towards something you've been putting off. It doesn't have to be a giant leap or anything like that, but maybe starting at just sending an email, maybe registering for a class that you've been wanting to take. Write the first page of that book. Make phone calls. Just trust yourself enough to begin the journey.
Okay. So my challenge is this. I have one too this week. Take inventory of your village. Who encourages you? And better yet, who do you encourage? Who speaks truth into your life? And are you speaking truth into anyone else's life? Who helped you become the person that you've been called to be? And who are you reaching out to help them become the person that they've been called to be? And if you don't have those people yet, begin intentionally building those relationships.
Yeah, those relationships are important.
Absolutely.
Those are great challenges. So if today's conversation encouraged you, we'd love for you to subscribe, share this episode with someone, and continue the conversations with us on social media.
And remember, purpose isn't reserved for people with perfect circumstances. It's lived out by ordinary people who choose to take faithful steps every day.
Until next time, this is JITT Talks. Real conversation, real transformation.